Welcome to RV Mobile Memoirs. I'm Lance.
Hey, I'm Zay.
And we are starting this channel to basically document and show this new journey that we've actually chosen to take us down the path of RVing. And during this time, that we're going to use it to share our experience, our journey with you, so that we can take you on the ride with us.
Absolutely. Just to give us give you all some background on us. We have actually, we are married. We have been together. This year will be 19 years, and we have been married 9 of those 19 years. So, like Lance said, we are extremely excited to have the opportunity to be as transparent as possible and share this journey of really transitioning over to an RV lifestyle.
And becoming a minimalist, because that means you need to downsize. And you will see throughout this, some of us are okay with having a smaller amount of things, and some of us are not.
You know, it's a work in progress, y'all. It's a work in progress. We definitely have to see how it's going to roll out, and you'll be here to share that journey with us.
But like Zay said, the purpose is to allow you to take the journey with us, and to share those experiences. But one of the reasons that we wanted to get into RVing is, as we're getting older, our families, mothers, fathers, grandmothers are getting older, and we want to be able to have the mobile option to go and stay if we need to for however long we need. Luckily, we are in professions that actually allow us to have that type of flexibility. So we can go and still feel like we're in our own space while we're away, essentially.
Yeah, Lanston and I are very fortunate to be able to work remotely. So we have that opportunity to work from the RV, from any state within the U.S., and be able to still live our normal day to day. But like Lanston said, really be able to continue to support our family in ways that they might need us. Like Lance said, as they get older, we're looking to spend more time with them. And then we also have the great luxury to have some great nieces and nephews that are growing up. So we want to be able to spend time with them also, to have those opportunities for the little things, right? We want to be at the softball game. We want to be able to be there and cheer them on, and really, make sure that we're part of their lives also. So this is a great way to do it.
And I'm sure that they'll enjoy the experience as well. I'm like, what kid would not like to be on an RV out camping, right? It's something different. It's something new. So not only to have new experiences for us, but also to be able to give new experiences to them as well, different things that they see, and it's something that they'll be able to take into their adulthood and kind of determine if that's something that they want to do or get into as well. So
absolutely, I would say the only other thing that I would add is, growing up, Lanston or I both never, we didn't know anyone with an RV. We didn't grow up in an RV family.
No.
All of this was very new to us. So being able to really be, like Lance said, to set those examples for our nieces and nephews and show them, hey, there's lots of things you can do in life, and there's a lot of way you can live in life. So being able to really open it up and share a new world with them is very important to us.
Right. So I'll be very upfront and honest with you. I'm not going to call myself the type of person that is stuck in my ways, but sometimes I can be, and it is a little hard to get me to step outside of my comfort zone. So with an RV, I think Zay is probably a little bit more of the champion for the RV. And I'm a thinker, so I analyze everything, like the purchases, money. It's one of those things that I don't like to do right off. It makes me a little anxious. But in the process of stepping outside of the comfort zone, like I reluctantly did it, I think it's a good thing. It kind of teaches me a lot about myself, and then about us too as a couple, just with learning different things, and it kind of keeps the fun in the relationship. a slight bit. So we made a purchase. We did purchase an RV in January of 2024 this year. And like in that process, there was a lot that went into it. We actually had one of our cousins, she purchased one, and we were able to see, we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But I can't stress enough, because it is a mobile or a motor home that is mobile, right? And it's similar to a home, but the maintenance from the motorhome perspective for me, I think will be a lot more frequent. So it is something that you definitely, and like I said, I can't stress this enough, do your research, right? Like, don't rush into it. Take your time. I actually feel like we rushed a little bit, but we did do some research, and we honestly had been looking probably for about 6 months.
Yep.
We had been looking at various RVs, and I'm pretty sure, as you know, like, you start talking about something, it's going to show up in your social media feed, on your phone, or whatever have you. But so we started seeing them, looking at them. They were nice, and then just kind of looking at some of the feedback from various people, seeing their social medias. And so in seeing it, I was like, oh, okay, this could be fun.
Yep. I mean, it was exciting, y'all. We had the opportunity, we had the opportunity to find one that we really liked in Atlanta, Georgia. The one piece that I will throw out to everyone, if you are in the market for an RV, or if you're just thinking about the process, the majority of the RV companies make this an extremely easy process. Mm-hmm. Don't feel like you are going to be stuck in one city, your city, to look for an RV, or if it's going to be, a hassle to do it in another city. They have some great programs that they will fly you out to make the purchase of an RV, and you can drive it back to your home, or flip. They can actually drive it to you. You purchase it, all virtually, and then they will drive the RV out to you. So the plus is you can see, you're able to go into your city and to dealers there and see the actual specific RVs, but you can still look outside. Once you've seen them and you know what you like, you can look online and be able to make that purchase. For prime example, we got ours in Atlanta. We live in Florida. So we were able to do that as a very seamless process. So definitely want to make sure everyone's aware of all the different programs they have out there for RV purchasing.
Yes. And we had the benefit, right? Like I said, to be able to see the online videos and different things of that sort is one thing. But our cousin, she actually purchased her RV before we did. And they have so many different versions of RVs. You have fifth wheels, you have Class C motorhomes, you have the vans, you have the Class A motorhomes. And you really have to vet out what's going to be best for me. And I also think you want to take into account, realistically, how much will you be using it.
Yep.
But she purchased hers, and she had actually looked at it. She did her research, and she had looked at one in one state. And then once she saw it, she started researching online, and she actually found it in another state cheaper. So she purchased it from the other state, and it was the exact same RV. So she purchased it, and we stopped by. She showed it to us. She actually took it out on a trip, and she showed it to us, and we was like, okay, like, it's one thing to see it online, but it's another thing to see it in person. Yep. And actually experience it. And it's actually pretty interesting, the things that they can put on wheels. I mean, I guess I don't know why I'm so kind of taken back, but when you look at it, it was like, oh, we're really going to be able to sleep and live in this motorhome. Is a little interesting when you take it back and fully think about it. But we were able to see hers, and she told us the same thing we're telling you. Do your research. Don't rush into it. Like I said, I feel like we rushed a little bit, but we had already been looking. Yep. You need to research the brands. In January, we actually purchased, it was a 2024 Coach Integra Vision XL. That actually have them, like what their feedback is, if they've been good or if they've been problematic. The prices are going to range. You need to understand what price do I want to fall into, because that's going to also control, like, hey, look, which brand I get, what type. if you're looking to spend. So whatever your budget is, take a look at that first. Do you want news? Do you want new? Do you want used? They do have them out there. And one thing that I would recommend, and then I'll let Zay kind of tell you from his perspective as well, is time it. It's not necessarily like buying an automobile because you do go through a lot more, but they do run sales. They do run end of year clearances and different things of that sort. But like, what are your thoughts?
No, I totally agree with everything Lance said. I would say what drew us to the Class A motorhome versus the rest of the options is a size perspective, right? So we wanted to be able to have it that we were comfortable on it, and that when we had, our nieces and nephews or any of our family members, my grandmother, Lance's mother, if they're along for the ride, we want them to be just as comfortable as we are. The other piece of it for us is being that we are actually work remote. We want to be able to be comfortable working remote inside of it also. So we definitely, the Class A was the right fit for us. We went through a lot of different items to look at, and the one major piece that pushed us to the Vision XL 36, and it's the 36A model, is the 36A model comes with 2 full restrooms. And so that was a huge thing for us. We wanted to be able to have our personal restroom and, inside of our room. And then we wanted to actually have that additional restroom for our guests, as they're there, whether they're just there visiting, while we're in a certain state, or if they're actually on the full trip with us. So that was a huge deal for us. And that was the actual thing that drew us to the actual 36A. So I'm really excited to have it, y'all. I think it's going to be a great coach for us to get to know, for us to actually do some great trips in and have some family with us and to enjoy all at the same time.
Yep. So a little bit about the process, right? So like I said, I don't like to spend money. It makes me very anxious, and especially with large purchases. So we have been looking, and then we became a bit more anxious once we saw our cousins, and we had looked online. We had looked all around, we probably looked in a total of maybe like 4 or 5 states and maybe 6 to 7 cities where they were selling RVs. Just looking at the prices, the kind that they offered. And how did they look on the inside, like what some of the reviews were. And we ended up actually going to see one in Atlanta. And Zay and I had a conversation because I'm not as impulsive as he is. Wow. And so in the conversation, right, we said, oh, we're not making a decision today. We're not purchasing anything. We're just going to see the RV. And I was under the impression that we both were on the same page because that was a clear cut and dry conversation. No gray areas. We're not making a purchase today. So we go and look. They pull it out. They open up the slides. And we're in there looking around. We like it and just checking out all of the various features, checking out the storage, kind of taking a look at it, because that's one of the things that you will have to do is on an RV, you always have to take into account the weight. You can't necessarily pack it out with a lot of things, and you will need to live a minimalist lifestyle, like basic things that you will need. And you can take a couple of things here and there extra that that would be good for you to be on the road, but it's not like a house where you can just go and pack it with a lot of stuff. So we look at it. We were working with the sales lady, and she allowed us to stay in there for as long as we want, just to check it out and different things of that sort. And I can already see in Zay's eyes, he is just head over heels already. And then he was like, "What do you think?" And this and that. I was like, "Oh, well, we will go back and look." And the sales lady is talking, and she brings up, and then I'll let Zay talk. She brings up, "Oh, well, they have this upcoming RV expo." And because she had mentioned that it may be good for us to come there as well. So that's another thing I will say before I turn it over to Zay is check out RV expos, because you can see many different types there, many different fifth wheels, Class A's, Class C's, whatever else they offer, walk through them, get acclimated to them, and take that into account with your research. But she mentions, hey, this is one of the ones we're taking to the RV Expo in Atlanta that was coming up in a couple of weeks prior to the purchase.
So, what concerned me with that whole thing is the actual, it going to this expo, right? I didn't want it to, for something that we were looking to invest such a big dollar amount in. I didn't want a whole bunch of people, going in and out of it, looking at it. We all know how those things are. So I did have a concern there. So of course I immediately,
it is on a dealership lot though.
Yes, it's still on a dealership lot. But even with the dealership lot, it's not like they have people coming in droves to look at them all at one time and coming in and out of them like that. So I did express that during that time frame. We were there with the sales lady, and she did say, "Well, hey, we can go and hold this for you all if we know this is what you guys want to do. We'll hold it for you for a $5,000 deposit and
refundable.
Yeah, it was a refundable deposit, but they would hold it for us and not take it on the RV show. So we went ahead and went down that route. So I was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And Lance was in agreement of it. So we went ahead and went down that route. But I think what happened during that time frame for me is once we gave the $5,000 in my mind, we're like, hey, we're buying this. Like, what are we waiting for? And so, of course, I followed my agreement. I said I wasn't going to say anything inside. I didn't. I didn't say anything inside. But as soon as we got in the car, I was immediately like, what's going on? What are we waiting for? Why aren't we buying? What is the deal? And so
Clearly, we know who the negotiator is not.
Yes. Luckily, Lanston said, just let me handle it. We're going to, let me just do some final research and we'll see what we do.
The conversation was not that easy. He was over there with his face made up and everything. Because, again, impulsive. He saw it. He wanted it. It was not that simplistic. But you get the short version.
But, I will say this, y'all. I've always been lucky enough to that if it's something that I really want, we normally have the opportunity to go ahead and get it. So, I've been pretty lucky in that nature. But anyways, Lanston did a phenomenal job. He came back home. He did research on the specific one that we were going to go with. He found several dealers that were selling them. He found a dealer in California that was selling it about $10,000 cheaper than they were in Atlanta. Got that dealer to send us a purchase order. We then presented that purchase order to the dealership in Atlanta, and we were easily being able to negotiate a way better price for our coach, and it turned out to be a great thing.
A better price and an additional feature, a washer and dryer.
Yeah, because the one that we sent in California came with a washer and dryer. The one that was in Atlanta didn't, so they did install one for us, and so it came out to be a perfect deal for us. But like Lance said, I was really excited. We went ahead and made that offer on that Monday. We moved forward. If you guys didn't know how that process looks or you've never done it before, it truly feels like a home closing. So they will set you up a closing date. They will also tell you to clear your calendar for that day. They have a 4-hour review that one of the associates for the dealership does with you. They walk through very high level. They walk everything inside of the coach, how you do this, how you do that, and it's quick. So you should see us. I mean, we were feverishly trying to take notes, recording conversations, trying to gather and absorb it all at one time. But the other plus about it that I do commend the dealership for allowing us to do is that they allow you to stay on the dealership in your RV for a period of time. We stood there 3 days. So that we were able to practice with everything, get acclimated to these things, and then we were able to have someone on site to ask questions to. So I think that piece was huge for us.
Not to cut you off, but one key piece when you make this purchase is, of course, it's a home, it's a brand new motorhome, whatever have you. However, just like when you get a new home built or something of that sort, there will always be some form of issues.
Yep.
In the 3-day process of staying on site, you're able to get a bit more acclimated. It is overwhelming with information when they walk through the RV process, but that's why we recorded it. But also it gives you the ability to test things out, be able to do the hookups and different things of that sort, and then also see and confirm if everything is working in the RV. The one thing that I would say, don't take anything for granted. Even if it's an outlet to plug something into, you should test it and make sure that it's working. If it's a USB or if it's Bluetooth, you should test it to make sure that it's working. And if it's not, you have that opportunity to say, hey, can you take a look at this because it's not functioning? Your sensors for like tank levels and different things of that sort, if the RV has it, you should test and make sure that those are working. But go ahead.
Yeah, to add on to that, we discovered that there was, I wouldn't say a laundry list of things, but it was more things than we would like to have, that we seen that were issues that they were able to get resolved for us and get it done. The other piece that I will just tell you to think about when you're thinking about an RV is think about the storage. Storage is another huge component that we did not think of in the very beginning. I didn't think of in the very beginning. Let Lance tell it. He thought about it, but I don't think that's a true statement. But we'll go with this story.
I believe they heard me say you have to be a minimalist. And Jose, no, I'm not going to do that. Zay has issues with his eyes, where his eyes are actually bigger than what the actual size is. So like and I'm saying we can't take that on. Like
I wasn't talking about that storage. Oh. I'm talking about actual storage to store the RV. Oh, well. I think you're jumping off topic. Can you just be quiet for a little bit and let me finish my story?
Well, you're not saying anything.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll get back to this, y'all. If you are thinking about a storage, make sure that, if you're thinking about an RV, make sure you think about where you're actually going to store this RV. And for, a lot of us that live in homeowner associations, you can't store them at your house. You can't store them at your home. So you can't do that. And then you want to find a place, they have all these different options. They have companies that store them outside. Like you can look at like these different storage companies like that do storage units. They'll store them outside. But then really for the big investment that you put into these RVs, you definitely we would recommend that you use an indoor storage.
Is that what you wanted in the beginning? Oh, so yes, I jumped ahead and I was talking about the other storage, but Mr. over here was just wanting to put the RV, let's find some land and just park it there. And I've said, no, I am not going to invest in that to have it parked outside. Number one, the temperatures are harsh. It's going to be outside, which means it's going to get dirty. That takes a toll on any vehicle. And I was like, we need to find somewhere that it is indoors, because that wasn't your first thought.
Well, it was when I got to better understand how the whole RV process worked. It was my vote to go ahead and have it indoors.
Oh, it was your vote.
Luckily for us, the dealership that we purchased at, they offer that service. They took us to the back to the actual to the indoor unit where they store all of the RVs. You can see them. They're all plugged up. They keep the batteries going. They make sure everything's good, and it's temperatured. So of course, when it's cold, it's warm. When it's hot, it's cold. It's cool, so that they keep them in good levels. The last piece that actually pushed us to make sure we did well. The thing that confirmed for us that we chose the right option when it came to storage is Atlanta had went through a very, very cold winter. And so they were I want to say for at least 2 or 3 weeks, they were below freezing. And so unfortunately for our cousin, she was storing it at her home and it froze her pipes. Unfortunately, she didn't have her unit winterized in time and before the storm hit, before the weather hit down. And so it actually caused damage to hers. So there's a lot of things that you want to think about when it comes to RVs and how what you do with them. Like I said, it's a huge investment. I would be the first to tell you, you're going to spend a lot of money, right? It is what it is. You're going to spend a lot of money on it. So you want to make sure you take care of the investment that you're putting the money into. So I'll flip it over.
Well, and one of the things too that we found, like we met a couple. They had been RVing, I think, for 30 plus years. Yep. Like we talked about our cousin, and like just in casual conversation with people. Number one, you really start to see that, hey, there are still friendly people around, people that can just have casual conversations, and you're strangers to each other. You don't know, right? But like the friendliness and the ability to share like what they've been through and for you to ask questions and kind of state, hey, like this is what we've been doing. But anyway, they did tell us, hey, prepare to spend money, right? Yeah. It is a mobile home. You're driving it. You're going to have to spend money. Things are going to happen. It is what it is. Like it's something that you can't avoid in an RV motorhome. So that is a big thing to take into account if you are considering it. You will need to have a nest egg just in preparations for the unknown. Yep. Similar to what you should have to have with the house as well. And that's one of the things that we are looking forward to, because we did hear like most of the people out at the RV parks, they're friendly. They'll talk to you. They'll come up. And if they see you and they feel like you look like you may be having trouble and you not necessarily know what's going on, they'll quickly walk over to help you out. Yep. And so just having that experience that they've had and probably their knowledge to kind of walk you through can help make it a little bit easier in terms of having an RV and then feel, and not, in my opinion, I'm going to say not having that feel of loneliness for something new and like the angst of, oh, this is really new, like I don't know, and then just continuously having to call people. And it builds you and it grows you to be able to do a lot of things on your own. You start Googling, YouTubing, the various things that may happen to try and figure out for yourself what's going on versus always having to call someone out. Because the biggest thing for me is wherever we can save money, I'm planning to, yep. Right? Because we know there's going to be times where we have to spend it. So that's what I for sure would say that we took into account and some of the things we're looking forward to as we do get on the road.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, y'all, as you can see, we are not experts on RVing, but we wanted to have the ability to have this channel to share our experience, and hopefully our experience helps somebody else around it. But the biggest thing that I would say is please, y'all, if you guys have questions around it, please put your questions in. If you guys are current RV owners, please share your experiences with us. We would love to hear them. If you guys truly like, the content that we have here, just click the like, click the subscribe, click the share button. Let's make sure that we are, spreading the love around when it comes to this, to the RV life. We are excited to be involved in it. We are excited to be sharing all the information that we get with you. And we are planning a cross-country trip. With that cross-country trip, we are going to be as transparent as possible. We will let you know how much the gas cost us, how much the RV parks cost us, what we're spending per month when it comes to, the RV living, because we want to make sure we're helping you, helping everyone understand what you're truly getting yourself into when you're looking to start the RV lifestyle. So.
Yes. But I'm going to circle back just really quick because it is something to think about. It is the storage. The RVs do have underbody storage, but you also need to take into account like size, even like on the inside, right? It is an RV. It is a mobile or motorhome that you're driving around with mobility. But in terms of size, and it's not going to be like your home cabinets and different things of this sort where you can just pull in and store like 20 glasses, 20 pots, and different things of that sort. Like you really have to take it down to the minimal number that you're going to take with you. And then you also want to take into account, like I said earlier, the weight of what you're putting on the RV. This is something with an engine, and it has to pull, and more than likely you're going to be pulling a car or something of that sort. So when you get to where you're going, you actually can get around depending on what size you purchase. But we'll talk more about those. But those are considerations to make. And one of the good things I will say this about Zay is like in preparation for it, it's versus trying to buy it all at once. He actually did it small piece by small piece. Like a little here, a little there. That way it wasn't a lot of cash flow out in the beginning.
Yep, absolutely. The spaces, and y'all, I'll be the first to say that, like Lance said, my eyes are always bigger than what it truly is. We've learned, on move-in day, right? For, I guess, right after our closing, I had all the stuff that we had already purchased to put inside of it. And, I learned a good lesson. I brought some stuff back. Some stuff was perfect size and worked great. Mm-hmm. And we will have a full-on video that will talk through what our initial stuff was, what we did purchase in the beginning. What was it? Was it good? Was it great? Did we really need it? And then, go from there with the continued of items that we continue to purchase for it to make sure that we're having everything that we need in it. So,
yep. But again, I would say, if you're interested, definitely watch it, like, follow, subscribe, share the videos. And then also, like, if you are currently an RV owner and we're talking about certain things that we're doing, but you do something different that you find that was more beneficial or more helpful to you, let us know. Be interactive. Post questions. If there are specific topics that you would like us to cover that we may not have covered regarding the RV, just let us know. We can talk about it, and we can just tell you from our perspective what we know or what we may have learned from others that we have met on the road.
Absolutely. I would say last but not least, y'all, be on the lookout for our next video. Mm-hmm. Our next video is going to be around our trial run of the RV. So we did a trial run trip in Georgia. Mm-hmm. We thought it would be the easiest since we store the RV in it. We store the RV in Lawrenceville, Georgia. So we went ahead and set up a trip for the notorious Margaritaville RV Park and Lake Lanier. So definitely be on the lookout for that next video. We'll talk about the park and talk about all the things that went well and talk about the things that didn't go so well. So definitely be on the lookout for that, y'all.
Yep. And remember, home is where we park.
Absolutely.